All right. We got another episode for you of must-have skills. What's that skill? Well, I just showed it to you. It's how do we put our muzzle on what we're seeing? Why would we want to do that? Well, two reasons. One, I got to see you before I can shoot you, assuming you're the bad guy. Two, we shouldn't be shooting at things that we haven't identified visually. That's how people get shot that shouldn't be. That's how people miss because they're not looking at what they should be shooting at. The whole you don't need to see your sights to shoot thing, let's just work on seeing our sights because then we'll be sure we're aligning on the target. It's also going to help us mitigate extra time, right? If we're trying to go faster, we go faster by removing waste. So check this out. Must-have skills number 8. How do you align the muzzle as quick as possible on whatever needs to be shot? Some people describe this as natural point of aim. I'd like you to go read and research natural point of aim. Shotgun, rifle, pistol, they're not all the same, but biomechanically it's the same process. And the simplest way to describe that process is for me to do this, and I want you to try it too. I'm going to point at you with my right hand. Boop. I'm going to point at you with my left hand. Boop. I'm going to point at you with both hands. Boop. I'm going to point at you with my left hand again. Boop. How are we able to do that? Well, there's a word that's become kind of a buzzword in the training community. It's proprioception. Some people mispronounce that word as proprioception, not the word. If somebody mispronounces it, correct them because they're using words that they don't understand. Proprioception. That's your ability to understand where your body is in time and space. If you've ever watched me do any of the stuff on the slack line, that's one of the reasons that I do that. That helps tune up your body's understanding of proprioception. So a good dancer has proprioceptive skills. A yoga practitioner, a martial artist, a good shooter. And why is this important for us? Because you don't get to stand flat in front of a bad guy and say, okay, here we go. Better press check because I'm not sure if it was loaded. Here we go, there it is, boom. No, you of course need to be able to quickly and accurately align that muzzle with the target and press the trigger. So let's go back a couple steps. We have almost every one of these videos said that we need to have this master grip become automatic, automaticity. All this stuff we're talking about is us developing the skills to an automatic level, a level of automaticity. Why? Because then we free up the front part of our brain to deal with whatever problems in front of us. So how do we solve this, or how do we input this data into our body? Well, the natural response is dry fire. Just to say dry fire alone, though, is not an end-all be-all. Why not? Because you can dry fire the wrong thing and get really good at being really shitty. You don't want that. So we want to make sure that you're inputting the right thing. Now, easiest way to do this is for you to ensure, one, that you have an excellent master grip. That means that I've got the gun, I like to say a meat vise. I want a good meat vise around that gun. I'm wrapped around nice and tight. I'm dominating the gun. I am not loose on it. When I mount this gun up in front of me, it's lined up. So just like we can pick our finger up and point at a target, that's what the level I want us to get to. So with a cleared out gun, with no alcohol or drugs in your system, in an area safe to dry fire, and you could do this for just 2 or 3 minutes a day. And it doesn't need to be about ragged speed. Cut that shit out and just think about what you're doing and move at a pace where you are absorbing the data that's in front of you. So we talk about awareness. If I just always go like this, I'm not really aware of anything, right? I'm aware that I'm gripping the shit out of the gun and I'm making noises and throwing the gun out in front of me. It'd be much better if I did this. Now, I've got 4 or 5 different things I'm targeting in front of us, and my goal is this. My eyes go to the target. I bring the gun to what I'm looking at. I've got a target over here. I bring the gun to what I'm looking at. I bring the gun to what I'm looking at. We talked to you guys in a previous episode about conditions of ready, right? Finger straight. I've got a good high, tight grip on the gun. I've got a compressed ready position. I've got a low ready position. I've got a high ready position. And it could be all points in between here, depending on what's in front of you and what you need to see, right? You can practice from these positions. I can drive that gun out. I can drive that gun out. I can drive that gun out. Not every bad guy is eye level, right? I can drive that gun out. You are working on tying what you see visually to the sights, to that grip, to that trigger press. This is of utmost importance to you surviving violence. You can't train yourself where you have to stand in a certain position in order to shoot. I've sat with instructors that want to be concerned about moving feet a little bit. I've demoed plenty of times for you guys here online. I don't know if you can see, but I'm on one leg right now. I've got my left leg crossed. I don't know if I'm in the shot. And I'll shoot like so with live ammo. You don't have to have a perfect stance. What you have to have is a rock solid grip, a good trigger press, and link your eyes to that muzzle. So in your dry fire, ensure that you are not just looking around the target. Pick a very finite spot on the target, the center of whatever you're trying to hit, and put your sights right on it. But put your eyes there first and run that gun to it. In classical archery, instinctive shooting is the terminology. I shoot a recurve, so there's no sights on it. You draw the bow back, you look at what it is you want, and your brain processes the information, trajectory and angles, and you have a nice release, and the arrow should show up, if you've practiced, where you want it to. That is the level that you need to get to with your gun. Drive the gun to the target, and it should appear where your eyes are. If it's not, one thing we want to make sure of is that our grip is consistent. If I move this gun that much in my hand, it changes where that gun is going to be pointed. If I move my other grip, it changes everything. It needs to be consistent, and ensure that the consistency is built around sound fundamentals. I'm going to reiterate the whole thing. Rock solid master grip. Screw your stance, because nobody says that you're even going to get to be standing. We've got a barrel here. I may have to be crouched behind a barrel. Now where's my stance? But I want to, if I have to pop out from cover, I want that gun to go right where I'm looking so I can get the job done and go home safe to my loved ones. This is Mickey with CarryTrainer.com. Please, please, please think about the end result that you want in your training. If it's just for fun, that's cool. I'm not your guy. If the end result is that you want to be excellent in your training so that the people around you are safer, so that you're safer, so that those in your care and custody or those that you have a duty to protect are safer, then please inject not just realism to your training, but have a goal. And in that goal, set up metrics that will get you there. In this case, good grip, drive that muzzle to where you're looking and dry fire that. Bam, 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 bam. Be well.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by. 135. Shooter ready?
Ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
Stand by.
144, 135, 139.
So it's immediate threat, right? That's when you draw on somebody, right? Draw. That shit is right in front of you, right? It's right in front of you. That's why we're doing these singles, right? All right, so it's right in front of me. The threat is right there. I'm gonna draw on him. What could that step to the left do? We talked about it yesterday. What'll it do to him?
Reset his OODA loop and
Right, takes him off his initial plan of attack, right? What could it do for me?
I guess half a second.
Right, could buy me time. And half a second is an eternity, bro. That's an eternity when you're talking this.